Hi, this is Sherry Dinkins with a short video on how to format your annotated bibliography. So when I'm putting in information from websites or from the database, often the formatting isn't correct, and that's fine. I just need to get the information down. Right now you're looking at some fake type for my summaries because I didn't have time to write a summary, but just pretend it's real writing. So there's all sorts of different fonts and stuff going on, but it's pretty easy to fix. One of the things I noticed was with this article right here, when I clicked on it, it said RSPCA. Now I know there's some sort of like Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, and so I actually Googled like, what does RSPCA mean? Royal Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. So I always want to use the proper name for the company that is publishing it if I can find it. So I just want to make sure that it's accurate. This one didn't have, it's registered with a place, but it's not owned by somebody else. So it would be like basically Royal Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals as both the publisher and the sponsor. So I don't need to list it twice. All right, let's get back to my document. So here I've got a lot of different fonts going on and some crazy stuff. There's a little shading right there. When I just dump stuff in, it often is goofed up. So the first thing I'm going to do, and I'm in Google Docs, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to clear the formatting that is there, get rid of any weirdness. So I'm under Format, Clear Formatting. What that does is kind of make everything let go that's kind of goofed up. So I'm not trying to fight changing each font or to take bold and make it unbold or underline and make it not underline. I'm just getting rid of all the formatting first. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to actually do the font and the indent. So it kind of freaks people out when I take out the spaces in between, but we won't need a space in between. I'm going to select the whole document. I can either do that just by hand, or I can do Control A and grab everything. So I'm going to change the font first. My Times New Roman is right at the top because I used it, but if you haven't used it lately, it'll be underneath, so you'll have to go down to the T's. On the campus we have often Times and Times New Roman, either one works fine. So I'm going to make sure that I'm in Times New Roman. I'm also going to select the font to be number 12. So I had different size fonts. I want them all to be the same size. So that is actually for Modern Language Association, and the font size also goes for American with Disabilities Act. So we're making everybody happy. I do notice that I need to do my indent, and there's two different ways to do that. I can actually do it physically by grabbing the little triangle, moving it over to 50, and before I let go of all this highlight, I'm going to go up to the little square slice and pull that back to 0. Now for a lot of people that's kind of weird to be trying to handle these little triangles and squares, so I'm going to show you a second way to do it. The second way to do it is go up to Format, click on Align and Indent, pull over to Indentation Options. You're going to go to the bottom where it says Special Indent, click on Hanging, click 0.5, so we're going to make a 1/2 inch hanging indent, and hit Apply. See how it did the same thing? It looks great. Alright, so I still need to double space it. I want to make sure there's no extra spaces in between. Sometimes with formatting there could be extra spaces, but I don't see any extra spaces. So far so good. I'm going to go up here and go to double space. So it's looking pretty good so far. I do remember that the first thing right after the article title, which is in quote marks, needs to be in italics. So I'm going to go guinea pigs. There's no author on this one. So I'm just going to go to Royal Society and make sure this one is italicized. So anything right after the title of the article needs to be in italics. And here's the Yoga for Seniors. Educational Gerontology is the name of the publication. So I'm going to try and grab the little comma there too and make sure that's in italics. Great. Looking good so far. I do notice that this has guinea pigs is capital. This one, Yoga for Seniors, all the big words are in capital letters. The articles or small words like and or to or for are lowercase. So that is what Modern Language Association likes. And it seems like it's similar for this too. So I'm going to kind of go up here and just change these to be capital letters as well. If I had a small word like to or on or of or whatever, I would use a lowercase letter, but these are all longer words. They're not articles. So that looks pretty good so far. I always want to make sure my dates are in this international format with the date, the month, and the year. The month, if it's a short month like March or April or May, will be spelled out completely with no period. If it's a longer month like January, February, October, November, that will be shortened with a period afterwards. And I do use a comma here. Some people don't like this space here. It's actually fine to have a space afterwards. It's not counted as an error, but if you don't like it and you want to try to put something up there, you can put your cursor down below it, maybe like halfway in the sentence. Hold down your Shift key and hit return. What it's going to do is force part of your URL up into that space. But like I said, if you don't do it, it's not considered an error. So please don't feel like you have to do that. I notice whenever I touch anything around my URL, it puts this link back in, and I need to remove the link. Same with the guinea pig article, still has its link there. I click on it, I want to remove the link. Now obviously if I'm sending somebody a link to an article, I do want to leave the link there. But for something like an assignment like this or the argument essay, I don't want any link that's visible. I want to keep the URL, but I want it to be in black type with no underline, so no actual hyperlink. The rest of this is looking pretty good. I do have them in alphabetical order so far. Et al. Means and the others. This means there are more authors than just Rebecca Perkins, that she has 2 or more colleagues, and that is the correct way to have that brought in. That was done through the database. All right, so the only thing I have left to do is put in my page number and then save and submit my document. So I'm going to go up here to format. Actually, I'm going to go up here to insert. I don't want to use headers and footers for the annotated bibliography or for the argument essays. We won't use it at all in our class. I know lots of high school teachers use headers and footers. We won't use them at all. We're going to go down to page number feature. So the page numbering feature in Google Docs or Microsoft Word. In Google Docs, I'm going to pull over to the easiest one, the kind of the most common one, where the page numbers start on the first page and they're in the upper right hand corner. Now when I do that, I notice that the font is incorrect and my cursor is behind it instead of in front of it. So I'm going to click on it to move my cursor in front. I'm going to put my last name there. I'm going to grab both of those items and change the font to be Times New Roman and 12 points. Sometimes I have to be really careful that I grab both items. So if I'm not careful, I might just put the last name in the correct font. And then the teacher will say like, oh, you need to fix that font. I'm like, but it looks correct. And they're like, not all of it's correct. So I'm gonna have to go in there and try to grab that number. It's really hard to do. So I just try to grab both of them at the same time and then put them both in Times New Roman and 12 points, and I'm good. Once I click out of there, if I have a second or third page, or in this case we would only have like a page and a quarter, a page and a half. I think page and a quarter is what the maximum is. This would actually roll over to have my last name and the number on the second page, which is correct. So now I'm ready to submit my work to Canvas. I'm going to go over here and click Download. I recommend downloading it as a PDF. Sometimes when people download it as a Microsoft Word document, something gets goofed up and I don't want people to lose points or feel frustrated. So if you're using your Google Docs, click on PDF document. It's going to come up here. You can then submit that to your Canvas submission window. Thanks so much for watching this video on how to format in Google Docs.